And we're live. Hello, hello. This is me, Mike Mason from Chaosium, and this is episode 10 of The Dead Within. And as always, I'm joined by our four illustrious players who are Lynne Hardy, who's playing
Francis Ball,
Jema Hewitt, who's playing
Georgina Sullivan, artist,
Jayson, who's playing
will be third. Maxime Lawrence Elliot.
And Becky is playing.
Oh, hello. Are you talking to me? My name's Eleanor Wright. How do you do?
Excellent. Right. So we're into episode 10 and the plot thickens. What happened last time? I hear you all saying, well, we've got an answer for that. And Becky is going to tell us.
Indeed. Well, the session began when we met Oleg, sort of, I imagine him as a bit of a sort of large chap, in my mind anyway. And we met him in his wooden cabin out in the forest somewhere in northern Russia near Lake Onega. And we all had a good night's sleep, or we tried to, but all of us had visitations from our dead relatives that have been haunting us throughout this campaign. And they told us that there's something is draining the water in the lake. And we've got various hypotheses on this as to whether it's the canal that's being built or whether it's the arrival of Hubor. I think I'm saying that right. But now that the water's draining away, they all feel a stronger connection to the land of the living. So we thought we'll deal with this right away by going and seeing somebody completely unrelated, and that is we tried to meet Anna by means of finding her mother. We got ourselves well equipped with lots of over-the-top camping gear that we didn't actually need, and met her mother and Anna's daughter. But Anna herself wasn't there, so we thought we'll try and kill two birds in one stone. We're in a place where the other person we need to meet up with sometime, might be coming in, and comes in once every 3 days and might be coming in on the boat. So we thought, I forget his name, Pallister, isn't it? That's it. So we thought we'd try and meet up with Pallister. So we went to the train station to look down on the docks, and then realised we have no idea what he looks like. So we didn't see him. And we returned to Anna's mother's house, and then went with Anna's daughter, Bella, on a 3-hour trek to go and see Anna, where we narrowly avoided a possible confrontation with 2 Russian soldiers who were in a lorry. This was mostly thanks to the Dunning-Kruger effect. I aced my stealth rolls and consequently managed to avoid them. And now we get to the point right up to the end of the session, approaching the cliffhanger, where Bella pointed to a rock face which led us to a metal doorway in the rock face, inside of which was a terrible smell, 4 confused investigators, and some kind of portal to the realm of the dead. We emerged on the other side and appeared to be able to hear each other's thoughts. Dun, 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 cliffhanger. Mike, what the hell's going on?
I thought it would be all pretty self-explanatory by now. But anyway, okay, so yeah, you're in this strange other place. It's very quiet. The sky is kind of white. There's no clouds. There's no sun. The ground is kind of covered in this kind of pale sand and bits of earth. And there are some kind of withered and kind of sick-looking kind of shrubbery and the odd kind of thin tree here and there, and you kind of, as you're kind of looking around and you realise you can now hear each other's thoughts, you realise you start to kind of get a little bit kind of discombobulated, because you kind of realise you can't. There's no horizon. The sky kind of just seems to bleed into the landscape. It's very kind of disconcerting. And slightly off-putting as well, and as as you think these kind of things, obviously you can all hear each other saying them, in your heads, which is also disconcerting. And indeed, some of you, when this first happens, you let out a kind of involuntary kind of shriek or scream or exclamation. And so in terms of how this may work is that we're not going to worry too much about hearing each other's thoughts, but what I'm going to say to you is, if you have a thought that you want to share because it'd be kind of good for the game, then if you hold your hand up and say something, that means you're thinking it and we can hear it. Okay, it may not be relevant, but that's what we're going to do. Otherwise, if you talk normally, that's what you're saying. But if you hold up your hand, you're thinking.
You do know that's going to be really confusing for those of us who are LARPers, because that always used to mean we're not here, ignore me.
I know. I thought it's the easiest way to do it. But there you are. So, okay. So, what do you want to do?
Well,
Perhaps the lack of the horizon is that it's heavily foggy.
I can breathe, but we're underwater. How can I breathe? Have I got gills? Have I grown? What is happening?
I don't like this very much. I really don't like this. I don't like this very much. I really don't like it.
I just heard you thinking, Georgina. I heard your thoughts.
Oh my goodness.
Could you hear me?
Think about Maxime.
Yes, I heard that as well. That's not helping.
As you look around,
it's quite fun, this, isn't it?
No, it's
strange.
not.
I quite enjoying this.
This is
I've always
definitely
wondered
not
what
my
other people were
definition of
thinking. That's going to
fun,
make my job
Francis.
so much more easy.
Maxime without a shirt on. Do not think about Maxime without his shirt on.
Will you shut up? In the nicest possible way, please stop thinking about me without a shirt on.
Okay,
as you look
what
around, the in the distance, not too far away, you start to realize you can make out water, and you can make out what seem to be pools of water dotted around the landscape. And the nearest one to you is not too far away, and Bella is kind of, you're not really hearing what she's saying, because she doesn't. She's either not thinking anything, or you can't hear her. But she kind of starts to lead you through this landscape, and you pass by one of these pools, and the water looks kind of a muddy kind of grey brown. There are some kind of yellowy kind of mildewed kind of reeds jutting up around bits of this kind of pool, and you can get the sense that actually there was once more water. You can see where the water is kind of drained away, leaving the kind of rivulets and kind of depressions in the land. And as you look around, you realize actually we are in the lake. This was, the bank over there. This lake was well over our heads originally, and it's drained away to almost nothing now, it seems.
Oh, I wonder if we can get people out by going back through the way we came.
I hope there's no dead people in these lakes. These little puddles. That would be really quite grim.
Could I have a listen roll, please?
Well, based off what happened last week, probably not. That's okay. I've got my percentiles all set up to see which ones are going to behave themselves tonight.
Not quite. I don't think I can afford the luck at this point.
Well, that's a normal success. But if you need it to be a hard success, I am quite prepared to spend 1 point of luck to make it a hard success.
No, that's okay.
Nice.
Over the kind of almost, breathless air, you hear a kind of a sort of familiar sound. You hear the kind of guttural kind of moan and shrieks that you've associated with the Zalozny kind of creatures. You hear them kind of coming across the land. You can't see anything at this point, but you can certainly hear. And the way it sounds like there's certainly more than one.
I think Maxime would draw a sword stick at that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
So
get the.
there's
Oh,
some
what did I
quite
grab last time?
bad language in Georgina's head right now.
You might all be struggling to think because, unfortunately, I'm reciting the Lord's Prayer over and over at the moment in panic.
Could you
Methodist or
all,
Church of England?
Is Bella-
The COE, I think, for this character, Vicar's daughter, isn't she? So,
is Bella looking concerned?
Bella's not really. I mean, you notice she hears it because she looks in a kind of, direction where, you assume she thinks it's coming from. And she kind of looks, but she doesn't particularly hurry the pace or look worried, more kind of serious. She's just got a serious look on her face. Could you make a power roll, everyone?
Oh. Yes, I can.
Yep.
pass.
Ooh, blimey, that's an extreme power roll. Use a good set of dice tonight, then, eh?
Jema, how did you do?
Pass. Yep.
Passed as well. So you all passed the power roll. Interesting. As you move through this land after hearing the Zalozny, there you have this impression that you are being watched. It's not just being watched. You feel like you're kind of being assessed, as if some. And it's kind of, initially you kind of think it's a Zalozny, maybe they're tracking us, but it seems greater than that. It seems something more intelligent, really, in terms of this kind of sensation that you're being observed by something almost all around you. It's hard to kind of put your finger on, but it feels that this whole place is connected in some way, and that you shouldn't be here. That it is alien. It isn't right almost, and it feels like this place knows you shouldn't be here. And it's, as I say, it's this kind of sort of tingling feeling.
I hope this place can't hear my thoughts.
I'm going to ask
Well, we
Bella,
can all hear you.
is your mother far?
You hear in your head Bella's voice saying, "I thought she'd be here. Where is she?" And then she turns to you and says, "She's close. She'll be here soon."
Will she be, though? Like, Maxime is skeptical of that sudden change of tact from her.
Did you just
she
hear
doesn't
her
really-
thinking?
Yes.
She's carrying on. I mean, it's not a fast pace by any means, but she's still moving and kind of pulling you along with her. You hear the noise of what you think is a Zalozny. Again, it sounds louder. It sounds closer. Do you want to do anything particular, or do you want to carry on following Bella?
I think we probably need to carry on, but I am getting the large hunting knife out in one hand and the pen knife out in the other. More for comfort than anything else, because big knife, little knife.
Do you want to make a spot hidden roll?
I would love to make a spot hidden roll. Let's see if
What,
we can
everybody?
actually make a spot hidden roll.
Those of you are, who are,
Yes.
I think Jayson, I think you're looking around. You've drawn your sword stick. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. No, though, I don't see anything.
Lynn, did you make that?
I did, yes.
Okay. You see movement up to your left on a rise over there. There's you see a couple of shapes move and then kind of duck out of the way. You think, you get the impression you're being hunted.
Right, everyone, we've got a problem.
I think we've got lots of problems.
Well, yeah. Okay, so our most immediate problem is that it appears the Zelozny are hunting us. So I would say that if we don't find Anna soon, we need to turn around and get out of here as quickly as possible before they cut off our escape route. Because it was hard enough dealing with one, and there are multiple here.
Maxime actually grabs Francis's arm and whispers, so it's not a thought per se that Bella can hear, but he said, I think she's just leading us down some damn goose chase. Anna's not here.
She certainly doesn't seem to be, does she?
You hear a cry, and you see two Zelozny, these kind of malformed, humanoidist, kind of bestial things. They're kind of almost human, but they're clearly not. They're just wrong. They weren't made right or whatever. And you see two of them kind of half, torso beyond this rise. And one of them seems to sort of just stare down, and the other one is kind of not rushing forward, but kind of creeping forward on all fours over the rise, so you can see it. You see it kind of coming towards you. It's about 50 feet away at this point, but clearly it is moving towards you.
We need to go now, fast.
We do.
I'm going to grab Bella's hand and pull her back the way we came.
Okay, can I have a sanity roll from all of you?
Okay.
Don't me down, little dice.
Oh dear, no.
Ooh, 0-7.
It's just
Dice,
become
you
too
are
much for
on fire
Maxime.
tonight.
Okay, so Maxime, could you lose 2 points?
Okay.
Georgina, 1 point. Lynne, you made it. And Becky, how did you do?
I failed.
You failed. I say 2 points as well. Maxime, how are you doing on Santa Claus? I know you lost a little bit not that long ago. Are you potentially nearing your losing 1/5 in a day?
I think just before the end of last session, I lost 3, and now I've lost another 2. But I was on 48.
Oh, okay.
Last
So
time,
yeah,
so
Sunder.
I'm okay.
Yeah, so you're only lost 5, so you would be needing to get nearer to the 9 mark. But that's only 3 points away from where you are now, isn't it? So let's see what happens.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
He says that with such a restrained air of glee, doesn't he?
Okay, so those of you who failed the roll, there's a kind of an involuntary kind of bit of panic as you kind of not sure where to run, and Georgina, you kind of grab Bella and start to kind of pull her back the way you've come, and the rest of you are kind of scampering all directions and then start to kind of follow Georgina's kind of initiative. Bella pulls away violently, going and shouts out really loudly, no, that's not the way.
I know, but there are monsters hunting us, is the best thing I can say to a small child at the drop of a hat. So they will eat us.
The one Zelozny is still kind of coming down. It's you've got a little bit of time before it kind of is on you, and you're kind of scampering. It's a little bit chaotic at this point in time. You've all it's really only Francis and Georgina who have kind of
I'll just start yelling at them in a soldierly
yeah.
voice to kind of, working on the principle that if you speak loudly and firmly, it scared people, then they tend to sort of like just follow orders.
and that does seem to have some effect. You can see this as Osney is, not far off, but Bella kind of is shouting, no, and then all of a sudden she just points in the direction she was originally headed, going there. And as you kind of in the chaos, you look to where she's pointing, and you can see two figures coming towards you, kind of through this kind of pale haze. Bella's quite loud kind of shout seems to disconcert the velocity, because it seems to pause. It kind of backs up a bit as if it's uncertain or maybe even afraid. It seems to be less filled with courage at this point in time for whatever reason. Bella kind of just runs towards these two figures. What do you all want to do?
I'll run with her.
Can't leave the small child to get savaged by monsters.
Yeah.
Okay. You run. She's running at quite full pelt now, so you have to kind of, give her the go to kind of keep up with her. And it's not very long before you kind of, it doesn't seem that Losney is following. And you see these two figures come clear. You see one clearly is a woman with kind of long dark hair, dressed clearly in kind of Russian peasant kind of costume to some degree. But there's a man with a dress in a suit. And as you kind of, Georgina kind of recognized him sooner before anyone else, you realizes it's Robert is walking with Anna towards you.
Okay. Well.
And as Bella kind of catches up and she's shouting out, "Mother, the friends are here. Grandmother sent us." And you now see this woman, presumably Anna, who looks about 30 years old. She's quite slight, but strong kind of bone features in her face. She has these kind of amazingly kind of vibrant, kind of violet eyes, and this striking kind of wild look. And unlike pretty much every other Russian woman you've seen so far, who's normally got their hair tied up or in some sort of scarf, she's got it all long and it's just, flowing. And so it's kind of unusual because you've just not seen anyone other than yourselves, with unrestrained hair in this sort of fashion. It's all loose, and she's got this sort of satchel over her shoulder, and she comes up and she sort of looks at you all and just says, "It is you. I am Anna Durariva. And you are?"
I thought you would know the answer to that by now.
Somewhat scared.
Hunted by monsters?
Well, I wanted to make sure it was you. And she sort of then says, "So you must be Francis. You must be Georgina and Eleanor, Maxime." And she kind of just kind of a formal introduction. And she kind of, "You have finally come. And where are you until now?"
What do you mean?
Where have you been?
St. Petersburg, the village.
Yes.
All over
Yes.
Russia.
Yes, I see. Yes, but you are here now. Bella has brought you to me. This is good. We must talk. Robert is obviously pleased to see you as well, and he is he doesn't say a great deal. He kind of, obviously, Anna's got some stuff to say, and vice versa. So he's reasonably quiet, but he does sort of say, he's pleased to see you again. And but there's something about him. There's something that nobody else really picks up on it, but Georgina, you kind of notice that, as far as you're concerned, he has that worried look in his eye and his face. He's not particularly letting it on, but you can see it's there, that he has some sort of worry on his mind. Anna says, "Walk with me, and we should talk."
You're not concerned about the creatures?
There are too many of us here. They will not bother us. Do not worry. I've been here for some time. They know to keep away.
How do you keep them away from you?
I just do. As I say, do not worry. Now,
we'll do our best, miss, if you can lead the way.
I need to know what you know. Tell me what you know, and I can fashion my answer accordingly.
About what?
Why you are here.
Believe you're expecting us.
Yes.
Yes, we've come because Robert and our other friends asked us to. They said that there was something happening and that you needed to see us.
Yes. You had met Gottman?
No.
No.
You have not met
we haven't
Gottman
met
yet.
Gottman.
No, we have not met Gottman.
That is to happen then. Oh, right. You know of Krylov?
Yes.
Yes.
And what do you know of Krylov?
Not a great deal, other than he tried to kill me, we think.
She kind of looks up at that and looks surprised to some degree and interested. What do you understand of death?
Less
That
and
you
less
go
every day.
to limbo, and then you go to the gates of, and St. Peter that lets you in or not. Is this limbo?
This is not limbo.
Permanent than I thought it was.
She says, "No, this is not limbo, and we do not know where the dead should go. Perhaps you are right in what you say. It is not what I understand it to be, but who can say? What we can say is, your friend Robert here shouldn't be here. I think we all know this to be true."
Can he
Robert
not just get out the same way we came in?
It would, whether he can or he can't, does not solve the problem that he should not be here at all.
But if we can leave by the way we came in, right? And if we can our friends?
They don't need to leave by that door. They are drawn to you in the real world.
But if they walk through, then maybe they can stay.
Perhaps.
It's some kind of bridge between the worlds, and maybe our friends don't need to stay dead.
But there is a difference. There is a difference between a good death and a bad death. A good death I'm saying this is a bad death. A good death is in old age, in bed with the family and friends around you. The dead are our ancestors and do not haunt the living. Or there is the bad death, when still young, by murder, by accident, by your own hand. The holy earth will not take you. You are put in a ditch with stones. And these are the ones that follow you. These are the ones here that you run from. The Zelazny, they are the bad dead. Some mean harm. Some are blameless. Think of the mother come back from the grave to nurse her baby, or a young child gone before she should have. And she kind of touches Bella at this point. And it is unnatural. The dead are with us. Some are in the town. Some have the Zelazny with them. Some view them with fear or hatred or outrage. Some with love. Some blame me, and I have nothing to do with this. But the dead should not be with the living. It is fundamental. It cannot work. If there is no death, it cannot work. You understand this. You know this to be true.
Yes.
Yes.
How did you come to be here, Anna?
I came to seek answers because of the dead. I spoke with Gottman, and I found out the cause of these things. And I came here to find more answers, to find out what this connection was, what this place is. I do not have all the answers yet, but I have some, and I will share them with you. Do you have... There is an answer, yes?
An answer, a number, a sign, and a ritual of sorts.
You have this. Do you have it with you now?
Not all of it.
You know it.
We don't know all of it now. We haven't spoken to Gottman.
Why?
The number.
And Gottman for the number, you say? I see.
Yes.
That makes sense. Yes. This answer, yes. Yes. I cannot see it. You do not have it with you. I can't. I would like to see it. I would like to understand it.
I know the words.
Speak the words.
I'm a little concerned about speaking them in this place.
We'll speak some of the words. Start the words. we will. If you do not have the number that you need for the answer.
No. Trust me.
About this.
Trust me. Saying even what we know has some effect.
I see. Tell me what you think the purpose of the answer is.
The answer being the ritual.
Yes, you say
Yeah.
a ritual.
Yeah.
Yes, that is my understanding.
It either closes or opens the connection to this place to either summon or dismiss a creature known as Hubor.
She kind of nods, kind of knowing nod. So I see. Yes, I understand.
Which,
I see.
As far as I can tell, is some kind of writhing deep evil that resides possibly in this place.
I think it is
there is a sign that goes with this ritual. Yes.
Yes.
She with a finger on the sand, she kind of draws that kind of stick figure symbol you found in Krylov's room in Moscow.
Mm-hmm.
Do you nod? You know, agree that that's the symbol?
Correctly.
Say again, sorry.
Did you draw it correctly?
Pretty much, yeah.
Then yeah.
I'm not reacting. I'm trying desperately not to react or make eye contact with anyone at this point.
I can't help myself. I shall think, oh, that's just like the one in Thingy's study that I have written in my notebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a symbol that Gottman taught me. He mentioned there was a number, but he would not divulge the number. I did not want to spend more time than I needed with that thing.
Tell us about Gottman. You
I
just called
approached
him
him
that thing.
I approached him when Bella came back. People know of him here as a Koldun, a sorcerer, you would say, perhaps.
Right.
Another one.
But you call him a thing.
I don't think that's his reading face. I think that's his frozen internet face.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh
Yes,
no!
Got him.
The suspense.
Right. It looks like oh gosh, I'll put my teeth back in. It looks like the Zelozny of nabbed our keeper once again. So we're just going to have a quick break and see if we can go and rescue him. Back in a second.
Okay, so yes, he goes on to say, she goes on to say, sorry, Gottman, he knows frightening, terrible things. Things he spoke of as though they were his food and drink, like nothing I have ever heard before. Bella can take you to him, and she can show you where he lives, but do not let her go in with you.
We will keep this with her.
Gottman talks you of Huber. You mentioned Huber, the creature in the lake.
Yes.
It is a god or a demon. It is from the stars from long ago. It came before man worshipped the first gods, before the first gods themselves were born, before the land itself, he said. Gottman said that Huber was at the lake but was dreaming, and that he now wakes. I see it, I believe it. I see the evidence, I see the dead. They are all connected. The influence of Huber is great now. Gottman said that we were responsible. We have woken it with our scratching, our swarming. This lake has always been a place of strong magic, of water spirits and ghosts since I was a child. And I've known this. My mother told me of this when I was a child. This world, and she looks around, this is where Huber is strongest. He is waking in our world, but this world is now dying because he leaves this world to come to ours. The water is drained because the water is his life. It drains away because it drains through the ether to the lake in our world. It fills, the volume of it fills with Huber. Everything here, the dead, the poor are pulled into our own. They follow Huber's strength. They can't die and they can't live, but they will change everything. They will change us all, and not for the better. It started over the last 2 seasons with Bella and the others, the Zelozny, good and bad deaths, and now it's become a plague just in these last months and this weeks. The creature, Huber, is coming. I can feel it. The creature is waking like Gottman says it will. It will be terrible. what we see now is nothing for when it fully awakes. She said there was this other man, this Krylov. He came to my house. He came with the police, although I knew he was not a policeman. He was more educated. He had a look to him. I do not know who he is, though, but I did meet him. He asked me my name and wrote it in a small black book, but I think my name was already in the book. I saw other names, a list of them. She looks to kind of see if there's any recognition on your faces of this.
We have heard of the notebook. There's something really strange about the notebook from someone else we spoke to, but yes, we know we're supposed to be in the notebook.
He asked me questions, many questions. I could at times I could feel him searching in my head, trying to make me say things. I heard myself talking of the other world and of the Zalosny, and I'm not sure what else I said, but I think I stopped. I think I managed to get him out of my head. He sat for some time in silence, and he was older, pale, no hair, dressed in army clothes, but not a soldier either. He was so still. There was an intelligence and a lack of kindness in his eyes.
It's his desire, I believe, to awaken Hubor and be first amongst the lieutenants as he sees it.
Yes, that would make sense. He is greatly connected to this. It is by his hand that it is it's his hand that holds the light that guides Huber to our world. If that light is not extinguished, Huber will find the light and will come. It has already started, but the light must be held for it to come all fully through. I've seen more soldiers, more people, more boats, and I've seen great noises sending birds into the air. I see a camp with trees being cut down. I see pain and suffering in the misery of men. I think this may be the scratching, the swarming that Gottman talked about.
Now,
The labour camp and the building of the canal, that's what that sounds like to me.
Men are tampering too much with the land.
are they channeling the water out of the canal for a purpose? We've never stopped to think that. What is the purpose of this canal, really? If Krylov is behind the building of the canal, then is its purpose related to Hubor?
Well, if starting building it is what started to wake Huber up, then that tends to suggest yes.
Might be purposeful, might not be, who knows. Either way, it needs to stop. But how? How can we stop it?
As you are having this bit of conversation, kind of, because you're focused on Anna, you haven't noticed this kind of person, not as Osni, it seems like human, in Russian kind of peasant dress, kind of walks by. It doesn't interact with you in any way, just kind of walks by you, and just carries on walking. And Anna says, see, this place is dying. He is called away. Huber is emptying this world. The dead are his creations. He senses and feeds upon the minds, and through that, his dreams create the dead or give them life. I do not know, but they are part of Huber. This is why it is wrong. You see now. You see the dead cannot be.
Yes, I understand. Why do you stay here, Anna? Why do you not return to your mother and your daughter?
I came here at first to be with Bella. I discovered the way to be here so I could spend more time with her. But now she is able to leave. And so I stayed to find out more, to try to learn from what Gottman had told me, to try and understand this Krylov, to understand the nature of the dead, and this Huber that Gottman spoke of. I met and spoke with the dead, and they told me of you. This Robert told me of you. A man called Harry told me of you. I learned that you knew something that and I needed to speak to you, and that is why I called you here, so we could talk. I could show you what I knew, and together we could determine how to prevent this happening.
We need to say a ritual at a place at a time with all of the missing pieces, and we have one missing piece that Gottman knows.
I have this thing I must show you. It is the most important reason why I brought you here. And you've continued walking all this time, sort of slowly, kind of dawdling along, following a kind of direction she's been taking. And she kind of now points towards this this kind of low bank, and there's a kind of like a few trees, and it's kind of like more like a grove, I guess, like a circular clearing, about 25 feet in diameter. And she kind of walks you into it, and there's a stone kind of lightly covered by a thin layer of this kind of pale sand. And she kind of sweeps the sand off the stone, and it's perfectly kind of smooth granite surface, but it bears what look like fragments of paint. The markings look ancient, look old, and there's a kind of the shape is kind of like there looks like what you say looks like an A and a V. Or maybe there's just a V and an inverted V, but it kind of the way the paint and the marking looks like them. One of them seems to have a crossbar across them, but no other things, or if they were, they're worn away with age. There's one irregularity, a kind of a regular depression cut near the center, about 1 inch deep or so, about 6 inches wide, like a cavity or something. She's pointing and she says, I think this is a place in all this land that I have walked far, and there is nothing like this elsewhere. This I feel the power here. I feel the power of the land is centered here.
No.
You
mean to say the place we have to say the ritual is here?
This is important. The magic must be performed here. I think.
Oh, joy.
It's almost like an egg about to be hatched.
Don't tell me the number is the number of people that have to do the ritual. And here we are.
No, I suspect the number is something else.
She said, I do not know the number. You will have to speak to Gottman. I do not know whether this ritual will bring death or joy, but I know it will save the rest of us.
It can be done in 2 ways.
But do we know how to do the different ways?
Out of character for a second, I think we do, because I think when I'd said the ritual before, Mike highlighted that it's basically our choice when we do the ritual as to which way it goes.
Okay.
If that's right.
Anna can kind of clarify a little bit more, perhaps. From her conversation with Gottman, she sort of says that the ritual you have, the one Gottman speaks of, it calls Huber to you. Wherever you perform this, it will call this thing to you. If you say it in our land, it will call. And this I think may be what Krylov does. It calls Huber, but maybe his ritual, his power is not so strong as this one you have. I do not know.
So it will
But if
call
you-
him back to this place, which is the place where he should be.
Yes, you understand. Yes. You call him here, then he cannot be where we are.
Yeah.
He draws closer. It will not be long before the call cannot be made. You must
need to
speak to
get the number.
Gottman.
Yes.
Bella can take you.
Gottman.
I know you are strong, but you must watch Gottman. He is careful and careless. He has his own moral compass. It is not like yours or mine. He can be trusted in his way, but you have to play the game he plays. Tell him you know me.
Okay.
How do you feel about the gateway between the living and the dead being closed and not being able to see Bella anymore? And I'd like to do a psychology roll as I ask that question, please.
Okay, make a roll.
Oh, yes. Hard success.
Okay. You can see on her answer, she says, I will be sad. I will miss my daughter greatly. But it is the right thing. We should not be here together. And the psychology success, she firmly believes this.
Okay, so she's not lying to us.
You don't think, no, you get no impression that
Okay.
she's lying. No.
Just wanted to clear that one up. Not that I'm deeply suspicious in any way, shape, or form.
She says, I will return shortly, but Bella can take you now to Gottman. He is not far. It will not take, not long at all, no journey at all. Then you can sleep at my house. You must go.
When you say your house, it's not in this world, is it?
No, my house with you. You've been to my house with my mother.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yes.
Yay, through the woods with the wolves.
I'd rather do that than sleep here.
Thinking aloud, yay, through the woods with the wolves.
Better than here with the Zelazny. Maybe.
Okay. So, is there anything else you want to say to Anna before she kind of boots you off with Bella at Sea Gottman?
We will do our
No.
best. We will
But
see.
what I'm thinking is, I wonder if she'd like to perform the ritual here alone so that we don't have to be this side when it all comes crashing down.
Are you thinking that aloud?
I'm thinking it, yeah.
You are thinking it. She looks at you and she says, she smiles and she says, I do not know the ritual. I asked you to bring it. You were unable to
Let
tell
me
the
teach
ritual.
you.
I do not know it. But she says, even still, I fear myself alone. I do not have the power to cast such magics.
Oh. Why does it always have to be a group effort?
Misery loves company.
All right, let's hot foot it to Gottman then. And
Yeah,
Okay.
we've been putting this off for long enough, haven't we? We really do need to go and see
Yes,
the slippery
yes.
magician to get the last bit.
we ought
Could
to
you
go
all,
wild.
Oh, here we
Bella
go.
kind of turns, you're completely lost in this now. You don't know where you are. You've been walking. Well, I don't know. How long have you been walking for, Francis?
Oh, honestly, probably been walking for at least an hour.
About an hour, you think. And what about Maxime? How long have you been walking for?
Maybe an hour or two.
Yeah, it probably feels a bit more like 2 hours, I think. And Georgina, I don't know, maybe it's just half an hour. You've only kind of walked down this.
It's like 3 minutes.
River. So, and it genuinely just, if you even start to discuss time, you all have wildly different feelings about how much time has passed here. Doesn't make any sense. But as Bella kind of says, we must go this way. Could you all make a power roll?
Come on, dice.
No.
No.
Not this time.
No, I couldn't. Well, obviously it wasn't going to last forever.
The pause.
Failed by many.
So just Georgina passed.
Oh,
Yeah.
dear.
And it was just a straight success, was it?
Yeah, just the normal.
Okay. As you follow Bella, you have this kind of innate kind of sense that you just know that you're going in the right direction. You've no worries that you're being led astray or that Bella's got lost. You just kind of know this is the right way. You're not quite sure why but it just feels right. And in the distance, visible from a long way off against the kind of nothingness of the sky, it seems like just moments, you see this outline shape of a door. It kind of stands in the middle of the air. There's not even a frame, and it's clearly open. And you can see through the door that there's trees and snow and a forest like the one you ventured through to get here. You can see a moon in the sky, and its light kind of casting down on the snowy scene. It's actually quite a remarkable sight and welcoming, and it kind of feels like sort of like home. It's not quite London, but it's next best thing. And you kind of pop through. I presume you pop through unless somebody wants to stay here and not go back.
Not
Feels a
really.
bit
Not
Hansel and
particularly.
Gretel.
So Bella pops through, you all pop through, and you appear back in the real world. If anyone does check their watch, it seems now that you would say that maybe about 7 hours have passed.
Whoa.
Since you're into the evening.
Gosh.
So it's about 9 o'clock, or maybe a little bit later than 9 in the
Ouch.
evening now.
Oh, no wonder I need a drink.
I wonder if this is how he time traveled.
And as you as you kind of have that thought, Maxime, about having a drink, you all have this wave of kind of exhaustion hits you. That suddenly it's like almost your body has now realized how much time has passed, and you realize you've not eaten or drunk anything for a little while. But you're not, you don't collapse or anything, but you are tired. You can feel it, and ready for something. Hopefully, Gottman has got a stew on or a cup of tea at least, maybe.
Is it wise accepting food from wizards?
Definitely feeling more Hansel and Gretel now.
Yes, I'd love some frog's leg stew, whatever it is wizards cook.
So Bella says, she turns and says, Gottman's house is not far. I take you there.
Yes.
And she just starts
Yes,
walking
please.
off.
But remember what your mum said, you're not allowed to come in with us.
She just sort of looks at you with a knowing look.
I think Bella will do as she damn well pleases, but we can try.
You follow, you kind of come out of the forest and you're back on this kind of road, which is vaguely kind of familiar. You think maybe that we came that way originally, that's probably the town back there. And she kind of takes you, further along the road. It's not too far. And she turns onto a track, which you get the impression is leading towards the lake. It cuts across a field and through a few trees, and you realise you're walking onto a spit of land that kind of extends into the lake. It's only a small spit, but it's it's big enough. But in the middle of this spit is a cottage.
Does it concern anyone else that Anna said Gottman can be trusted, whereas our last contact who mentioned him specifically said that he could not?
Well, she only said he could be trusted in certain ways.
She
Yeah,
said
I
we had
think
to play his game.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think he's very eager to rise this creature from wherever, and he needs us to do it.
Maybe. We'll see
But-
when we're inside.
And let's face, the person who told us not to trust him was as mad as several sacks of ferrets, and not entirely trustworthy himself.
And yet everything he said has so far turned out to be correct.
I didn't get any untrustworthy vibes off Anna when she talked about being okay with losing.
No, she declared her position, and I think she's genuine in that. My concern is about what we're walking into.
Don't really have many options now.
He seems to be the only
this
one
is
that
true.
knows the number.
And he might have a nice cup of tea. You never know.
Oh, is it tea time?
Yes.
Nearly. It's nearly tea time.
Nearly tea time.
Not
nearly
quite.
tea time. Not
Just
quite.
hang in there.
Well, let's face it, everyone. We've been played from start to finish by one person or another. So we might as well just go in there, fully aware that we are being played, and see how much further we have to do this before we can all go home to our families.
And also, I don't actually know the ritual. So I can say with my hand on my heart, if he asks if any of us know the ritual, I can look him in the eye and say, I do not. No
This is
idea.
true.
Sorry.
Okay.
Bella leads you down to the water's edge, and you kind of follow the lake's shoreline onto this spit of land. As you do, kind of across the lake, and it's a massive lake, if you remember, so it's literally, at the corner of your eye, you just kind of notice a kind of a light across, the far shore. It's just a pinprick, really, but it stands out because, there's no other lights. As you walk onto this spit, you see a kind of a haphazard wooden fence looms up, a gate in it, and beyond that, the flicker of a light in the cottage about 100 yards beyond that, which kind of backs onto a few trees. The gate has a hand-painted sign in Russian. What's our read Russian like? It's pretty good, I'm guessing, by now, or is it?
Oh yeah.
Not quite.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
What do you think the sign says?
Trespassers will be shot or zapped.
Near enough. Keep out in Russian, it says. You do note, though, as you approach the gate, that there are a string of reindeer bells on the gate itself. Clearly, if you open the gate, the bells will ring. Anna stands by the gate. She doesn't touch it. She just stands there and says, Gottman.
Thank you, Bella. I think we'll take it from here.
Do you want to open the gate and ring the bells, or do you want to
I don't fancy
some
sneaking up
clever
on a wizard.
jumping off? Or yeah.
I think we
That
should
would be
just
a
ring
really
the
bad
bells from
idea.
here.
So yeah, I mean, you can just ring the bells and not actually open the gate, or open the gate and just ring them and stay there, or you can open the gate, ring the bells, keep on walking. It's however you want to play it.
It does keep out. Maybe we should be polite, ring the bells and let him know we're here, and then if he wants us to come in, he can do, because yeah.
I agree with that as a starting point. It certainly strikes me as the least let's get turned into frogs.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can do that. You can give the. It's not hard to give it a shake, and the pleasant sound of reindeer bells clanging away, and at that, appearing from around the side of the house, is a tall and very thin man. He kind of, well, probably creeps is the best word. He kind of creeps towards you, not kind of stealthily, but just the motions are kind of just creepy, really. And he
I
just
stand behind Maxime.
walks up to the gate and looks at you with this kind of solemn, kind of long face, no hair, other than a few kind of tufts around his tops of his ears. He just looks at you all and doesn't say a word.
What's this one, Sophie?
I'm just grabbing another piece of paper to keep making notes on. Mr. Gottman, I presume?
At the mention of Gottman, he nods and he goes, Gottman. And he looks at Bella. He kind of turns and looks at Bella. And he says, Bella. And she smiles. And he shouts something back towards the cottage in very kind of quick and harsh Russian that even you near fluent speakers don't catch. And a woman now comes out of the cottage holding a lantern. And there's some sort of conversation that goes on, but the language it sounds like Russian, but it's difficult to pick out. You get a few words, but nothing really. Then she goes back into the house, and you see that this bloke keeps glancing at Bella. He then takes a couple of steps back, and could I have a spot hidden roll?
Okay.
Oh, 01.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Extreme for me
Oh,
too.
I can spend the
No,
3 points of luck to make it a success if you need me to, but if everybody else has made it, then
No. Okay. Both of you made really good and then an excellent roll. So Maxime, you notice he puts as he looks at Bella again, he puts his hand in his coat pocket and he seems to be fiddling with something. And Eleanor, you kind of, I know, just the angle you're standing, you see something metal. And at first you think, oh, is that like a small knife or something? But then with that 01, you kind of think that looks like a crucifix he's holding.
Bella, why don't you go and wait back on the shore?
And as he's got one hand presumably in his pocket holding what seems to be a crucifix, with his other hand he now opens the gate inwards and kind of gestures for you all to come through. Do you go through?
In for a penny, in for a pound. Let's do this.
Mhm.
Yes, but we shall ask
Okay.
Bella to stay where she is.
Okay, well, as you
Mhm.
all go through, Bella is stood on the other side, obviously. He then says, Bella, and leaves the gate open.
I shut it behind us.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to do the similar thing.
Okay,
Yes.
and Bella just sort of shakes her head as you do that, and he just nods and turns away and kind of walks you towards this cottage in the darkness, and we'll have a quick break at that point, and we'll be back in
Yay.
5 or 10 minutes. Go and have a cup of tea, everyone, and
Yay.
we'll see you all in a minute. Hello, and we're back, refreshed with tea. Okay, so you are heading towards and into this cottage. As you get to the door, let me just double check something.
Oh,
Does
God.
anyone have a rifle or walking stick or anything like that on their person?
Rifle.
Yes.
Rifle.
I've got a knife and a penknife and a truncheon.
But,
I'm armed with faith.
what I mean is, in terms of, do you have anything visible? So
Well, yeah,
Maxime's
stick.
walking stick, I presume, is visible.
Absolutely, yes.
Did anyone take Oleg's rifle?
Yeah,
I
Georgina.
Do you currently have it on your shoulder?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay. So you get to the door and you see this old woman is in there, kind of gaunt but sharp-eyed, and she ushers you into this kind of anteroom, whereupon the old tall thin bloke gestures to the walking stick and the rifle and holds his hand out.
I assume we're not going to need them inside. And I shall give it to him and say, for the wolves, knowing that I have a bread knife strapped to my back.
Indeed, he takes the rifle and he all he does is he turns and puts it against the wall, basically, and then he turns to Maxime and points to the stick.
Maxime will comply, but he will put it aside himself rather than hand it over to this gaunt figure.
Yeah. Okay. He doesn't seem to be bothered by that. He seems happy enough. Around about there's some sort of bark comes from the next room along. You hear this sort of someone. It's really just like a bark. It's not really a word. It's like "Wah!" And you are shown into this next room, and there's it's lit somewhat inadequately by 2 paraffin lamps, and in the light from one closest to a chair is this very large man. You would say obese, really. He's somewhere in the region of 350 pounds, you'd probably think. He's wearing a very dark, very capacious suit with a white shirt. He's bald and got a burgundy cravat. Is kind of a placid face with twinkling eyes in the lamplight, and he smiles, and he says something in German. Sounds like German. Does anyone speak German?
9.
Yes, I do.
You do. He says good evening and welcome, and he also continues and says, do you speak Russian or English?
Mainly English.
his smile gets even wider at that point, and he then says, good evening to you all. Good evening. I rarely get the chance to speak English. This is a rare treat. And he gets up, and he gets up and he says, I am Rudolph Gottman. Whom do I speak to?
I shall hold out my hand and shake it and say, Francis Ball, pleased to make your acquaintance, sir.
As you touch his flesh, it feels puffy and almost boneless. There is, there is some kind of tension there, but it's just flabby, and it's slightly moist and clammy, and it sends a bit of a shiver down your arm as you kind of shake his hand, as his kind of big hand envelops yours for a moment and then lets go. Do the rest of you do something similar?
I'll give a very small curtsy and say, Eleanor Wright.
He
Maxime
kind of
will shake his hand.
He bows back at Eleanor and shakes Maxime's hand again. You feel the same. Georgina?
I don't. If he holds his hand out, I will shake it, but I'm not going to offer mine first. I will do that.
He holds his hand out, so you kind of do this kind of quick kind of touch shake kind of thing, and you notice he's got leather shoes on. They're really polished, really shiny, kind of polished black shoes, and you notice he has a cane propped against his chair. You've also now kind of taken a bit more of the room. You see there's a large fire burning. There's bookshelves, divan, 2 tables laden with papers, and there seem to be almost too many chairs in here. There's also a telescope on a tripod by a window, which you seems to look over the lake, obviously. He's kind of, he says, my English is shamefully underused. I will try my best to keep up, though. Now, let me get some chairs. He darts over to the corner where there's a pair of kind of heavy kind of armchairs, kind of, high-backed kind of things. And he, quite somewhat surprisingly, he gets the leg of one in each arm, in each hand, and just picks them up, these two that would easily take, you could maybe lift one of them yourself, lifts them both up as if they're nothing, and kind of clears some cutaway and bonks them down. And you see the old tall guy he's moving some other chairs. He's carrying these kind of lighter wooden chairs, and they kind of position and 4 of them in a rough circle around the fire with his chair. And he says, please take a seat. Would you partake coffee? Yes, coffee?
Oh, God, we're kind of going to have to, because it'd be really rude if we didn't.
Coffee would be.
I get so few visitors, you see. Perhaps, forgive me, perhaps a wine would be better.
Oh, no, coffee's lovely, thank you.
Coffee would be delightful.
No, Francis, don't be hasty. Wine would be quite tempting.
If you would like wine, Maxime, you have wine. I feel the need for something caffeine related.
Whatever is easiest for you, sir.
I see you wish for wine. Yes, that is a good vintage. Martin, wine and coffee for my other guests. And Martin kind of leaves the room. and you hear presumably him and the old woman clanking around in some other room preparing refreshments. When things sort of settle back down, he looks at you and says, "Is Anna Dereva here? Will you bring her in? I hear her child is outside."
No,
She
Even
sent
though
us here.
No.
not with us. No.
He's not with you.
Anna
Where
could not-
is she?
She sent us in her place to talk to you.
Ah, that is a shame. I
But
was
she
so
is
looking.
able to join us.
I was so looking forward to seeing Anna again. But it is a delight that you charming ladies are here with this fine young gentleman.
I hope
You
you
see,
can
I am.
talk
And he kind of whispers a bit and gets a bit conspiratorial, and he says, "I am. You see, I am wooing Anna. It is a nuanced affair, of course, a dance, and with an old one like me, the gulfs of time separate us, you see. But she has a ready mind and sweet, and the thrill of her emotions is unlike what I have met for some time. I wonder if you know her well, you may have advice for an old soul like me."
Well, she certainly seems well, and she's very beautiful. I can see why you would find her attractive.
Maxime
Yes,
gives
yes.
Georgina a look as though to say, "Stop encouraging him."
Do you know what she favors? Perhaps I might find some token, a trinket, a gift, perhaps that would endear her to me more.
Oh, I know what I want to say, but that would be a really bad idea.
You too.
Like numbers. I'm just saying.
A number.
Oh, I wish we could still read each other's thoughts because
Yeah.
That would be useful. Yeah, but is that a stupid thing to say?
it's
Yeah.
it's
She
a
has
game,
sent
isn't it? That's the
Oh dear, here we go. We're mind reading again. Well, she is a very intelligent lady, and she does enjoy information and puzzles and ideas. I shall leave it open for one of the others to kind of continue if they want to.
And I'm sure
Does anyone
one way that you could
say-
ingratiate yourself with her would be to assist us.
Ah. Well, she did send you to me. That is correct. Yes.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
perhaps.
she trusted you.
Well, that is good to know. That the bonds deepen. Then I will help you. I will do my best. I am at your service. Now, do you know me through Anna, or do you know me by other means?
Can you say that again, please, Jem? I didn't quite catch it.
I'm trying to remember how we did first get to hear about
That's the
Gottman.
crazy guy.
Through
Crazy guy in
He-
Leningrad.
you must see Gottman, blah blah blah.
And his Gottman's name is on that newspaper from the
Mhm.
future. That's the other
Yes.
link. I don't. Do you want to say any of this? Is he's
There
I'll
was
see
a
you there.
gentleman in Leningrad who mentioned your name, but it was really Anna who told us more about you.
Leningrad. I have not been to that place. It was a different name before when I was there. It is some time ago.
St. Petersburg,
Maybe.
Do you have
Petrograd,
many
Petrograd.
names?
Sorry, say that last bit again.
Oh, I see. The city was reading. I thought you had a different. Right, of course. Silly me.
No, yes, I think St. Petersburg, but maybe something else before then. But it has been a time.
Petrograd.
Petrograd was after St. Petersburg.
Yes, it was.
He just looks puzzled at that. Yeah. Do you want to make a spot hidden, all of you, at this point?
I would love to make a spot hidden.
I know, I'm focused on him.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a hard success, or if it's not, it's 1 point off a hard success.
I'm
Just
so
a few off, but
uncomfortable. I
other
got
people
hard
have spotted.
If I need a hard success, I'm happy to spend the 1 point of luck.
This is becoming
I think that might be an
catchphrase
idea. I think
I'll spend
I
that
might
1 point
advise
of
you to
luck.
spend a point of luck to make it hard.
Yes, that is
Georgina,
now a hard success.
did you make it?
Yeah. I'm
So-
so uncomfortable at looking. I'm so uncomfortable at looking Gottman in the eye that I have been looking around very carefully and therefore got a hard success.
Right. And Maxime, you didn't or did?
Just a few short.
A few short. Okay. And Eleanor, no. Okay. Well, you, Francis and Georgina, you noticed two different things, each of you, as it were. Georgina, you realize he has no eyebrows or eyelashes. He is completely hairless. And Francis, as you realize, as you kind of looking at his face and kind of the penny is kind of dropping that he has no, facial hair whatsoever, you see it's a flicker, it's just an instant thing, that maybe a trick of the light, that the side just by his ear on his side, the flesh seems to ripple. Just it's probably a trick of the light, but it just sends this shiver right up your spine that faces don't ripple like that.
Let's get this number and get out of here.
Yeah, I don't like this.
There's drinks.
He says, well, we are all together then, you and I, and these others too, invited to this gathering. He has been very clever. Does he seek to attract and control those who would destroy him? It's almost like he's asking himself rather than you the question. It seems almost rhetorical. He says, he will not gain precedence over me in either matter. You and I will see to that. Allies then, for the moment, for the hour. Now, what must you know?
Okay, let's just do this. We need to know the number.
Need to know the number. Right. What number is this you speak of?
I feel there's only one that is prescient, and anything else would be a gain.
The number is important to you, yes?
Very much so. It's important to Anna.
And
It is
to
important
Anna
to Anna.
too. And the number is needed to account for something, or to tell you what is the reason? I do not wish to give you the wrong number. I must
is
know
to be
why.
Put together with a sign and an answer.
A sign and an answer. Interesting. An answer, you say? An answer to what?
That we're not entirely certain of, because we don't know the question.
It relates to Hubor.
77 then is the number you seek.
Can I, using my skills of psychology, do I believe he is in any way lying?
You can make a psychology roll.
Okay. I passed.
Okay, regular success.
Regular.
Your impression with his joy is that he seems to be telling you the truth.
Now, from what I can remember of the ritual, because I do have the words memorized,
Yep.
the number isn't in the ritual, is it?
It's no, it is. You're very correct, and I have it just written here somewhere where I will try and remember what it says. Oh, I got it here. Sorry, I will tell you. Here we are. So the number, what it says specifically is, as this number, I decree them.
So it is a spoken thing in the ritual. It's not like we need 77 somethings.
Oh God,
I
I hope
suppose it's
not.
like the thing that.
Do you want?
validates, yes,
Do
the
you
spell
want to
has
ask
worked.
that question?
Yes. So this number, how does it pertain to Hubor and the ritual surrounding it?
He reaches down to some sort of pot by the fireplace, and he puts his hand in, and you can't quite see what he's doing, but he seems to be maybe counting or doing something, and he pulls up his hand, and there are a handful of seeds, plant seeds, flower seeds, in his hand, and he holds them out and kind of gestures for you to take them.
Okay.
And he pours them into your hand, and he says, 77 there are. You will cast them when you say you're right.
Oh,
77
right.
there are.
what are they?
These are seeds. It does not matter. The number is the important, and that there are 77 of them.
Huh.
Thank you.
Do
That is
you?
not gracious of
This-
you, Mr. Gottman. Not Gottman.
Well, I try my best to be helpful. It isn't always easy.
I believe you have.
Clever people, though. Yes. You speak of the answer. This is Golovin, yes?
Yes, I think
Sullivan.
that might have been his
Yes.
name. Yes.
That was his name.
Yes.
Yes, clever. Yes. And he kind of stops, pauses, and this big tongue kind of licks his lips quite, openly as he seems to be thinking. And yes, you surprise me. Oh, yes, you are bold and clever things. Oh, the risks you take. I think it will work. Yes, it will work with the trinkets. Yes.
The trinkets?
Yes, I will give you a gift.
Seeds,
I'll give you a
presumably.
gift. But you must know of Huber. For when he rises, he will defeat the workings of this world. If time here stretches like a single tenuous thread, well, it will stretch no more. It will be as in Thoth, Abith, Ymar, and Zeoth. No, you would not do well and fare well then. And if Huber, and I name him, for now we are intimates, yes, you and I. In this, if Huber rises, it is only the start, as thinkers know. Huber is just a messenger. He who precedes the one who dreams, the one who sleeps, the great one, the true master. Yes, you see the one in the sea, the one that dreams.
Nod and smile at the nutter.
Nod and smile. Nod and smile. Yeah.
I
speak
Have-
of
Wait, back the wine.
no
I
idea
think
what
of-
you're referring to. None at all.
the sunken dead city, Rillier. Yes, you know of this.
I've
Eleanor.
never heard of it.
Excited. Getting all excited.
Oh, God.
I have grown used to my life, such as it is. Do I wish to see this change? Am I not in balance here? Have I not fashioned my life upon this plane? Have I not traveled and resided here in peace from the world? Do I wish this change to come? No, I do not. It is not a balance I seek. And this is why, you understand, I tell you this. I tell you the 77. I give you the 77 seeds. I help you. You see? You see how I help? I help you, little ones.
Yes,
We do.
we're very
we
grateful.
do see, yes.
I'm getting the impression that you were not born in Germany.
He kind of sits back and smiles very broadly. And there's a long pause. And he says, no, I was not.
I'm going to do that sort of motion behind his back at Eleanor in a kind of desperate, enough, do not go there.
So you're a well-travelled man then.
Yes, I have not travelled for many a time now, but in my youth, I saw many sights. I saw the world when young. But
What do you mean?
we should. When
Do you mean the new
world
world,
was young.
as in America?
I saw the world when I was young, and the world was young. I have been here for some time. I am not like the Mayfly, like you.
You have learned to defeat death?
He just smiles and goes, no, death will take us all, but to each its portion. You distract me from, and he kind of got a long pause that gets just a little bit too much uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And then you see this kind of, his eyes are kind of almost darting about, as clearly thinking or controlling himself to some degree. You see this kind of sort of tear on his lip kind of turn up, and then he kind of catches it and it kind of straightens out, and he says, so I tell you now, I wish Krylov killed. The end of his own line, you will do it, yes? For
It
when
had
Huber
occurred-
comes... Go on.
It had occurred to me that if Krylov continues to perform the ritual, it almost doesn't matter what we do.
Yes, you see. When Huber comes, there will be no more songs. The song must end. You must kill him. There is no other way.
Well, that's
The trinket will help, and together you and I will snuff him out. What
I look to
do you say
Maxime
to
and
that?
Francis.
What do you say to that, my dear friends?
Krylov is a dangerous madman. If the opportunity presents itself, then we will be forced to defend ourselves from him. He's already tried to kill me
No.
once.
No, 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 no. You must kill him. If you do not kill him, it will all be for naught, and your tiny schemes will fade. You must kill him. Sitting here in my home, what do you say when I ask with all humility that you must do this thing? Will you deny me this?
No. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll kill this Krylov for you.
That is good. You must. You must. Yes. I am nimble and clever too. But what force we will make together, you, my friends, and I. So you must tell Anna, my priestess, that I wait with an alarm and a thrill for her visit. Let it be soon.
We will certainly pass that message on.
We will.
Yes.
Your priestess. Well, it's a relief knowing that I'm speaking to a godly man.
Oh, indeed. Yes, I do so much like the gods. Can I have a listen roll from you all? Ideally, a hard listen roll.
I've got 20% in listen. It's not happening.
No.
Yeah, no.
No, it's not happening.
Nowhere near.
Nowhere near.
Fail.
Okay, so you all fail. He puts his hand in the air and he says, "Do you hear? Do you hear it? There it is again. There it is again." And you see his finger is kind of trembling. And you can't quite work out whether it's kind of, is it fear? Is it rage? Is it just excitement? It's something. And he said, no more tonight, tomorrow night. This is his last. You will kill him. Huber is nearly here. He listens to Krylov's song. Huber must not come to him.
We will do all we possibly can to ensure that.
He jumps to his feet and he moves quickly to a bookcase, and he reaches inside and finds this kind of polished wooden box and pulls out something from it. And it looks like a kind of an opaque block of what looks like maybe quartz crystal. It's about hand-sized and flat, but it seems kind of maybe got jagged edges or something. He comes back over with it and he kind of holds it out to you for one of you to take.
Okay, yeah, I'll put my hand out and take it.
Maxime bravely takes the
Maxime
thing.
wants to get out of here, so anything to speed this up.
Now, as you hold it, you see it's glowing slightly from some kind of internal strange light. He says, "You see how it glimmers with his song, the trinket? You will find him at the next midnight by using this. It will glow like this when he moans his song. Krylov lives right upon the rocks, just this side of Povinets, in his house by the lake. You go by boat across the lake. He casts his spell there on the rock up over the water. You will come to him. You will not. But this will guide you to him. You will know he is singing the song and calling Huber. You will know this, and this will guide you to him. You can then secrete yourselves across the water onto land and kill him where he stands before he is even aware you are there. It is the right thing to do. It would be the best thing to do, for a wizard is not to be angered. Better to cut off the head before they see you.
Oh, sugar.
Yes, of course. But in the meantime, you must be a busy man, Mr. Gottman. We don't wish to take up much more of your time. We have all that we
Yes.
need.
Yes, he looks back at Max. He says, yes, use it. It is yours now. I will listen tomorrow night to be sure. We have talked much, but listen now. This is most important. Krylov is powerful, as we know, but he is helpless when he is calling and singing the song of Huber. He lays bare his chest for you to blow. Kill him here, and afterwards Huber may hear you in the other world. With Krylov's song sung no more, your song in the other world will be that much stronger. Huber will hear you. Huber will come. You will draw him back. If Krylov lives, Huber will ignore your song. You must take this to the other world thereafter. Into Zoth you must go to find the circle when you call Huber. Anna knows the way. I have showed her the way.
We've seen the circle.
Yes, that is good.
The stone with the marking, the A, the B.
Yes.
I thought it
I
was just
give
one
you this
stone.
great gift. This trinket is the anchor. I hold it as his servant. Call Huber there in Zoth, and Huber will come to it thinking it is here in your world. You see? He knows it to be in this world. When you take it to the other, it will trick him. He will come thinking you are me. You will break his journey here. It will take all of you to cast this summons. It is hard, and he will not hear unless you call him. And everyone must pay the price.
But wait, two questions. You are Huber's anchor.
I have been, and I am. This is why I live here on this shore of this lake. For Huber's earthly essence resides here in the bottom of this lake. This is why it is returning here, back to its vessel.
And the price, I assume, is that will be left in the other world.
Yes, it is part of Huber. That is why it knows it. It knows of it.
We would become its anchors then.
No. You will be free to depart if you leave quickly and wisely. Or should you tally, one might not say the same.
So we can get out if we're quick.
Mhm.
Of course. I would not send you to your deaths. You are my friends.
And so the price then is what exactly?
There is always a price to pay. It is different each time. But it will be a trifling matter. It will not cause you undue distress.
What was it last time? May I ask?
I have never used the stone to call Huber. I have been content to watch over its essence.
Yes, but
The price is different. I am unlike you in many ways. The price would be different for me.
I don't think he can tell us, Eleanor. I think I think we've taken up enough of this gentleman's time, and I think we now
Yes.
need to go and do what we need to do.
He says, you have listened well. Good night, my dear friends. We will not meet again. Although, and he looks at Eleanor and he says, although you, my dear, may be a delightful exception, and maybe you would visit me again, perhaps in 2 days' time, when this is all over, and we can talk of pleasant things.
It's entirely possible.
And with that, Maxime kind of quite rapidly
If he
stands
passes
up.
a psychology roll, I will be forced to say things about my reaction.
And with that, he kind of gets up and motions, for you to go now. But as you go, he does kind of pour towards Eleanor and say, "It was most delightful meeting you."
Thank you, Mr. Gottman.
If she's close to Maxime, he just grabs her hand and kind of,
Yeah, and
come on.
We'll just kind of usher her out. Yeah.
And he doesn't see you. He just stays and stood there smiling as you
Most
depart.
kind. Thank you. Farewell.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Gottman. Good evening.
Okay, and you leave the cottage. You can pick up your walking stick and rifle, and there you are. And Bella remains outside. She seems quite pleased to see you. Almost, you get an impression that maybe she wasn't sure if you were going to come back out.
I wasn't sure we were going to come back out.
Me neither.
And that's why we do not read magic scrolls.
Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to teach you, because he did say all of us had to do it.
Yeah.
I have a horrible feeling about this.
As you, Bella turns around and you then spend the next couple of hours going back to Medvestigora, to Anna's house. Clearly by now, by the time you start to see the town in the distance, you are shattered and very, very tired. Although a coffee and a glass of wine were somewhat reviving, it clearly is not enough by now. However, on the way back in the moonlight, Maxime or anyone else, I don't know, if you wanted to have a closer look at this trinket he's given you, you do have the option to do that now if you want.
Yeah, sure, why
That
not?
would be a good idea.
Let's get it out of the way.
Okay, so it's an opaque block of quartz crystal, roughly like a book shape, about 5 inches wide, 8 inches high, and just over an inch thick. It's pretty much perfectly smooth top and bottom, but it's got kind of ragged edges on its 4 sides. What you now see as a kind of moonlight cast down, you're holding it up to the light or your lamp or something. In the center of this crystal is something. It's like a pale splinter of a bone, or like a fragment of bone or something. It's difficult to say. I mean, none of you are kind of like zoologists or biologists or medical people, are you?
It's a piece of hooper, isn't it?
It's a piece of bone, but you're not sure what it's from, and you can think what you like.
Nail clipping or something.
Nail clipping. Oh dear. I have a really bad...
All you need to know at this point is, if you do, end up performing this ritual and you have this crystal with you, all you need to remind me about is that it's going to give you plus 20% to whatever you're doing.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's worth knowing.
How do you feel about shooting this Krylov, Maxime?
Interesting you say my name first for that.
You did volunteer, and
I wanted to get out of that house. I was extremely uncomfortable in there, and I know we all were. It seems that if we didn't comply, he could do all sorts of things to us.
so I think what he said made some sense in terms of what we have to do, but I realized that taking a man's life is a big ask for somebody who didn't fight in the Great War.
At the moment, that's really the least of my problems. I'm a lot more concerned about what happens after Krylov is killed. Huber ascends, and Gottman is a very happy man.
No, we have to go to the other world to call Huber back there.
I'm
now
more
we,
concerned about where Krylov is, and if us killing him there is how we get away from there once we've done this.
Well, I was also thinking we should perhaps try to kill two birds with one stone and take the camera for the photos of the slaves.
We might as well. I can always throw it at someone if all else fails.
Now, if we're to take the boat across the lake to get to him, then I guess we should take the boat back. So, dare I suggest it? Are you able to steal the boat?
Oh, now we know Oleg has a boat.
Oleg
has a
Well,
boat.
he has
use.
offered its services to you. He has offered.
Oleg does, yes, but I was thinking if they don't have a boat, they can't chase us.
But it's a steamship, isn't it? It's a big boat. There's no way we can steal a big boat.
Oh yeah, that's the big kind of that's a big
not happening.
steamship. Yeah.
No, I've sailed in a couple of yachts before and been out on lakes, but I've never sailed a steamboat.
Well, surely it's not too different from a car.
It is
different from a car.
quite different.
Oh well. Just a
But if we
thought.
can
I think
acquire a
having our
small
own boat to get there and get back is a very sensible idea.
And also a smaller boat, easier to slip away in it. They won't notice necessarily that it's gone.
So the idea is that we follow the glowing rock over to Krylov's house.
Yes.
Kill him while he's calling Huber up to this world, then dash back down through the portal to the other world and call him down there with the ritual and the sign and all of those, yeah?
Yes.
And then very quickly get out of that world.
Yes.
Back to
And
our own.
hopefully survive.
Hopefully trapping Huber there.
That would be the plan.
Yes, it makes more sense now.
Well, it's a great...
It did. It does now.
I just need some sleep and to learn a ritual, and I'm in.
Okay,
Let's not dwell on the price too much.
As you eventually get back to Anna and her mother's house with Bella, it's a 4-hour walk basically. You are flagging, as I've already said. Bella obviously is never tired, so she just carries on, and you have to get her to stop if you want to rest every few minutes or so. But eventually you get to Anna's house, and Zoya greets you, pleased to see you. She looks at you and forces some stew down you, or at least
Not gonna
some
take any
cold
forcing.
cuts and so on. As you're eating that, you see her getting a load of blankets out and kind of making up kind of beds on the floor, on this, kind of rugs and things, and basically just directs you to go to bed, basically. And Bella says, as you kind of, well, presuming that you are doing all this or not want to go another 4 hours to Oleg's. Yeah. Okay. Bella says that her mother will be here when you wake in the morning.
Oh, well, that would be handy.
I suppose we should try and see Pallister in the morning too.
Yeah. In theory, if he comes in tomorrow, it'll be around noon, so it should time out reasonably well.
Yeah.
And that still buys you time. Presumably you can have a chat with Anna in the morning post the Gottman interview, see what she says, and you've still got, in theory, time to speak with Palliser and see what is going on with the camp and him and all that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And in theory, if you are doing what Gottman says, you haven't got to kind of be out on the lake till that night, so you have time to go back to Oleg and borrow his boat or get him to to take you across, which is probably possibly the more sensible option, because one, he knows what he's doing and he knows the lake, but that's for you to decide.
Maybe try to get over sooner to take photographs, though. Surely.
Well, all you know is that Krylov has a house by the lake. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's in the camp, or or where the camp. You don't really know where the camp is at this point, so you have to kind of make the assumption whether Krylov is in the camp or near to the camp, or whether the camp is, not quite next door, as it were. But again, Anna may be able to answer that question for you if she's got better local knowledge.
Hopefully,
I
yes.
guess. So there you are. So so anything else at this point as you are dreaming away or chatting before you sleep over a stew, or are you all content that I'm what you are doing?
And I think we all know what we're doing.
Well,
Guys
Doesn't mean
getting
we're happy
gloriously
about it.
shafted.
all right.
Okay.
Let's hope it's not our last.
Oh, why on earth would you think that? We're only going up against a powerful wizard. None of us can shoot. But what the hey?
I'm sure it'll all be fine. I'm sure if you do exactly what Gottman tells you, nothing can go wrong. So, fine. Okay, so we shall leave it there, I think, with you all having earned a good night's sleep after a day of venturing to other worlds and speaking to slightly strange gentlemen in cottages by lakes. Just another day in Russia, perhaps. So there you are. So we will see you all again next week, same time, same place. Thanks everyone for playing, and thanks everyone for watching. See you all again soon. Bye bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Stay safe.